Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. When I started using Anchor to do my podcast, it was so extremely easy that I haven't even bothered to look for another app to use. I love this app. It's the only one I deal with, the only one I even recommend, period. I recommend you get on there ASAP. If you want to start a podcast, this is definitely the place to go. It's easy. You can drive around and record. You can sit in your basement and record. You can do it anywhere. It's fantastic. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start, anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Adam Rich from the Really Rich Podcast. And, today I wanted to talk about opportunities. Wasted, non-wasted, but, I just wanted to get into that because, I had a lot of questions coming at me. And speaking of which, before I forget, I want to announce that I'm going to start I want to try to do it at least once a week or something for questions that are coming in, questions that, I don't really, I do a shitty job. I'll say this. I do a shitty job of announcing who says what questions and when. And it's mainly just because I don't want to announce who says what. I mean, if you would prefer it, if you'd like me to say who's doing it, that's fine. But usually I try to answer stuff, but I never really say that it's from somebody's question or people had these questions coming in. So what I think I'm going to try to start doing, and hopefully it's good, we'll see if people like it, then we'll keep going. If they hate it, then I guess we won't do it very long. But basically when people are asking questions and stuff, I want to have at least maybe one day a week. I want to do an episode about just answering questions, basically just Q&A. And I'll do, half hour to an hour of it. I guess it depends on how many questions come in, or I'm going to try to make sure that the questions are relatively related. I don't want to have an episode where I dance around random topics like, somebody asks a question about sports and then about life and then about kids and then about wisdom and then about, whatever. I don't want to get too all over the place because I think it'll be easy for people to lose interest. So what I want to do is basically I want to take the majority of the questions, or at least the good ones, and try to basically do a Q&A, kind of read them off and just answer them to the best of my ability. So look for that coming soon. I don't know what day I'm going to start doing this or what day it's going to drop exactly, so I don't want to say, I don't want to announce that and then fuck that up and, then everyone's like, what the fuck, man? You said you were going to do this. You suck. So I already get enough of that, but that being said, though, I wanted to talk about opportunities because there are so many times that, you'll run into an issue where you don't know if you should jump at the idea, jump at the opportunity, jump at the whatever option was just presented to you, because it can be scary. It can be out of your element. You could just be nervous or confused or really, not really know how to handle it or what you should do. And I just want to basically encourage everyone that if you have an opportunity come your way, if you have something come up where you think, man, this could really lead to something, or maybe it's nothing at all, maybe I should just not waste my time. Let me be the first to say, do it. If you are working at something for a long time, or maybe you're preparing for something for a long time, and then an opportunity comes your way, you should definitely jump at it. Don't make excuses. Don't be too, it can be nerve-wracking. It can be scary. It can make you, it can be out of your element. But here's the reality is this. Anything that comes your way that is not under your control Anytime like maybe a random stranger offers you something, or maybe maybe it's a job offer comes your way and you're like, man, I don't know if I should take it or not. Listen, if you are really debating it, if you really think that it's worth checking out and you feel like the risk or the reward is totally worth the risk, then you should definitely, I would say damn near 100% of the time, depending on what we're talking about, I guess. I would say almost 100% of the time you should go after it. Because, let's be honest, things like that don't just happen every day. You may work at something for 5, 10, 15 years and nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden one person comes along and says, hey, I'd like to invite you to come do this, or I'd like to have you come speak on this, or I'd like to have you come teach me in my classroom of kids about this, or anything, man. When those opportunities come your way and whether you're prepared or not, you should at least jump at it, because you don't know when they're going to happen again, if ever. Sometimes they never happen again. You know, I think back to, I try not to get too into my personal, my dating life, especially before my, I've been married to my wife. I definitely don't like to talk about that too much out of respect for her, but I can think of some very important times where I totally blew opportunities, and I don't dwell on them. I don't think about them like that or whatever to this day, but I do when I do reminisce about blown opportunities, or about times where I should have just went for it and I didn't. That shit can come back to haunt you for so long if you let it. And it's one thing if you're the type of person like me, I try to get over shit as quickly as possible. Once it's in the past, it's in the past. It's over and done with. You can dwell on things, you can be upset, you can be depressed about it, but at the end of the day, the past is the past. It's never coming back. Now certain things can obviously affect your future depending on, what it is, but let me give you an example. Like, I'll never forget this. When I was 13, 14, somewhere in there, still relatively young, but kind of old for being my quote unquote first kiss. I mean, I guess in kindergarten, I had my, was it kindergarten or second grade? One of those two. It's either kindergarten or second grade. I had my very first kiss ever, but it was bullshit. I mean, let's be honest, it was bullshit. It wasn't even a real kiss, like a peck on the lips or whatever, and it was meaningless. It was nothing. But when I got older, this girl that I thought was really cute, she was, I think, a year younger than me. She was a grade younger than me. I was either 13 or 14, something like that. And I really liked her. She liked me. But we dated for a couple weeks, and I was super nervous to kiss her because I'd never, really kissed a girl. I'd kissed, peck on the lips, on the cheek, shit like that. But I'd never, made out with a girl or whatever. So I was super nervous. Am I going to be terrible? Is this girl never going to is she going to dump me right after because it sucks? And I was super fucking nervous about this, right? And this girl, I guess, I didn't know this at the time, but I guess she had told one of her friends, I really want to kiss him, but he never tries to kiss me. And I didn't know that. And I remember we went out, we had been dating for 2 to 3 weeks, and nothing serious, obviously. We weren't talking marriage or kids or nothing. And we went to a roller skating rink called Riverside. I think it was called Riverside. It was Rivers. Pretty sure it was Riverside. But anyway, I don't even know if it still exists anymore. But so we're talking 23-ish years ago. This girl, we went to this skating place, and I was like, oh, tonight's going to be the night. Tonight's going to be the night. I'm going to try to kiss her after, or at some point in the night. And she was getting a ride. We didn't have licenses, obviously. We were too young, but she was, the night was over. We were done skating. We were getting ready to leave. We were waiting for our rides to come get us. And I'm standing outside. There's all these people around, but the girl, I could tell she really wanted to kiss me. She was acting like it, or she was just hovering kind of around. She was just waiting. We were kind of hugging or whatever, and maybe holding hands or something like that. And I remember the moment, we were getting ready to leave, we hugged, and I knew it was my chance. I knew it was my time to lean in, just give her a kiss. I could tell she kind of wanted that anyway. And I got so fucking nervous. I was so scared. I didn't do it. And I think the next day she broke up with me. Never dated her again. And, I talked to her like as friends or something a couple times after that here and there, but it was never, we never dated or nothing after that. And I remember after that, like a week or two went by or something, and her friend, I'd seen her friend or talked to her friend, and I was like, yeah, I just don't get it. Why did, Ashley, break up with me? I don't get it. I thought we liked each other. I thought we were having fun and all that. And she said, yeah, she just thought you were a prude because you wouldn't kiss her. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm a 13-year-old boy, not to get too graphic about 13-year-old boys, but you're nonstop hard. Like you're horny constantly when you're a 13-year-old boy. Like the wind blows the wrong way in Italy and that thing's at full attention. And so to have a girl say, well, you were prude, like you weren't ready to do this or whatever. That's all I wanted was at that point. I was just so fucking nervous. And I never really even had a chance to tell her because I was embarrassed about it. And I didn't even want to admit that to her. And bottom line, it was a blown opportunity. I had an opportunity. Now, here's the other thing that could have happened. Looking back in retrospect, I could have just kissed her. It could have been horrible. And then she could have dumped me. At least then I would have got the kiss. You know what I mean? And I didn't get that. Instead, I had a girl who I really liked break up with me because I was a prude. You know what I mean? Like, this is the shit that I'm talking about. These are blown opportunities. And it's I still think, I don't think about it. Like, I don't sit around and be like, man, I really wish I would have kissed her. It's not like that. But the point is, when I think about opportunities that are missed, that's one of the first one that comes to mind. At least it's the earliest one I can remember. And, years later down the road, I remember another girl I really liked. I really wanted to mess around with her and date her and all this stuff. And I was like super fucking nervous. And once again, I didn't make enough moves. Let's just say it was more than kissing, but it wasn't, I didn't react. I didn't respond. A lot of times, I've done that a lot when I was younger. I really like a girl. I'd get too nervous around her. And then bam, fuck it all up. And then she's no longer interested, doesn't want nothing to do with me. I'm the prude. Oddly enough, I think anybody that knows me, especially in high school and in my 20s, I don't think anybody that really knew me would ever tell you that I was prude. I don't think anybody would ever mistake me for somebody who was, lacking the sexual desires, if you will, even if you won't. I think what would happen is you would hear a lot of people say, like, no, that doesn't sound like him at all. And here's why, though, because once I got out of high school, I had so many embarrassing fuck-ups like that where I would just like the girl too much, I was super fucking nervous, and I wouldn't make the right move. And the girl would lose interest. And what I realized is it's not that these girls were whores. It's not like they really, really, really wanted to, just mess around. They liked me. I liked them, but they were respectful. They were waiting for the guy to make the move. And I didn't, because I was a scared little, whatever back then. And it sucks, man. It's blown opportunities. And there's so many more in life that have happened that have nothing to do with, dating or anything, but you can't risk losing these opportunities when they come, dude. You got to jump on them. You got to pounce. Because when they happen and you don't expect it, you don't know when it's going to happen again, if it's ever going to happen again. And if it doesn't, there's the majority of old, like, I don't want to say old people, but not to be disrespectful, but the majority of elderly folks, they don't talk a lot about their accomplishments and what they've done. Some talk about that to some extent, but a lot of them talk about what they wish they would have done, what they wish they would have tried, or the chance they should have took. And I just don't want me or anyone I care about or anybody, to look back 5, 10, 15, 30, 100, 50 years from now, 100. Who knows by the time we get that age how medical science is going to be. Maybe you are going to live for another 100 years. But I don't want people to look back and think, man, I should have, could have, and would have done this. But I didn't. And I had the chance, and I just didn't jump at it. I don't want that for anybody. Listen, I've already got enough of them moments. And listen, I wouldn't change any of it at this moment because I love where my life's at. I love where I ended up at this moment. And I'm not done, obviously. I hope not. I don't want to die anytime soon, but I'm just saying, like, I don't regret anything because of what I have now. However, the things that, are somewhat, I guess, regrettable are the opportunities that came that I didn't jump at because I was either scared or nervous or confused or unfamiliar with what the outcomes could be. I didn't, sometimes overthinking it is the problem. And listen, a lot of things happen. A lot of these moments arise, and we think to ourselves, man, what if I do this, if I take that job, if I take that leap, if I lean in to make that kiss, what's going to happen? What kind of bad things can happen? That's a lot of times where our head goes. And listen, I've made, anyone that follows the podcast knows I've said this before. When I was young, I made a lot of decisions based on negative thoughts, based on negative ideas, or I always thought of the worst possible scenario first, just so I was prepared for it. But it's also it's a loser mentality. It's a loser mindset to think negatively. What I should have been doing is thinking, well, man, what are the good things that could come from this? It's awesome. It's always wise to be aware of the best possible scenario and the worst possible scenario, and then expect any of them, or prepare or plan for any of them, but expect and shoot for and prepare for the best possible outcome. That way you're able to handle it when it's thrust upon you. If you think like a winner and times are tough, you think to yourself, how can I move beyond the adversity? How can I be a champion? How can I win this? But when you think like a loser, when you think negative, like I used to all the time when I was young, you start scaring yourself out of these things. You start thinking, well, man, if I go do this, like, it might be bad. I might embarrass myself. I might look stupid. I might get hurt. It might be dangerous. It might be scary. I might make a fool of myself or whatever. And you come up with all these different reasons why you shouldn't do something. And that's a horrible way to live. It really is. You always, if you can afford the risk for that reward, always jump at the opportunity, because you have no idea what doors it may open. You have no idea what good can come from it. I just real quick, I got one more little side. This is more of a positive one. Me and my wife took our daughter to church this Sunday. And it was the first time we ever did. She just turned 9 months on September 30th. She turned 9 months old, basically. And it was the first time we took her to church. We were going to take her last week, and we ended up taking our sweet time, and we didn't end up making it. We were going to be like super late. So we just stayed home, and we were like, all right, listen, next week we're going to wake up extra early, and we're going to make sure that we that we make it to church so we can take our daughter, because I'd like for her to at least see what it's like, see how she's going to handle it. So anyway, we missed the first week, but we made it for the second week, which is last Sunday. And so here's what's beautiful about this. We've been going to that church for a while, not every week, but we definitely have been going there for years now. And I think I've been going for, I don't know, I want to say 7-8 years, something like that now. And anyway, I've always liked the pastor. For anyone that's listening, if you don't know, it's for Northridge Church in Michigan. There's like 4 different campuses, but the main pastor, this guy named Pastor Brad Powell, he's phenomenal. He's super funny. He's extremely knowledgeable of the Bible and everything. And anyway, he's just a good dude. And they raise the money. I know a lot of people think it's a scam and all this, but he actually legitimately, like, they show it, they explain it, that they actually do spend the money that they're given. They actually build shelters for women that were caught up in like sex trafficking rings and kidnapped and all this stuff. And they build these shelters and everything to basically, I don't want to say domesticate them or whatever, but the right word, to get them, to get their mind right, to basically shelter them, give them food and a home to stay in and everything, teach them about God and to basically get their mind right, like to be back in a normal civilization, because some of these girls have been trapped for years and they don't really know how to think like, I guess a privileged human being. I don't know, I don't want to say normal, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so they do all this. Well, the guy is a really awesome guy, and he travels over to the Middle East a lot. He goes and does all these things. He builds and he spends a lot of the money, not just on the actual church and the foundation of, the campus and building and all that, but he also does it for the victims. And so anyway, I've been wanting to meet this guy for years. I've gone to this church, but it's a pretty big church, and there's a lot of people there, and we usually kind of get out of there right when it's hectic and all that, so we just leave. Well, anyway, we take our daughter for the first time this last Sunday, and I've been wanting to run into this guy or meet him and just say hi or whatever for a long time, just because I like him, I respect him, he's a great guy, he's funny, and I've just always wanted to meet him. So anyway, we go there, and I've never had a chance to meet him, and we go, and they kind of redid, since I've been there, it's been over 9 months since my wife had our kid, and we go there, and they kind of redid a lot of the church and everything, so we didn't want to go in the main auditorium with our daughter, just in case she started freaking out and making a scene, and I didn't want to disrupt the service like that or anything, so we go upstairs where there's this kind of lounge area that we've never seen before. We've never been to this area. And we see this lounge area where we can sit and just hang out with our daughter, and we can feed her, and we have these little snacks, these little wafer things that kind of she can take a bite of, and they kind of melt or whatever, so that way it's easier to eat. Anyway, we're up there feeding her, and we're watching what Brad is talking about in the auditorium, but beneath us, we're watching it on screen live and all that stuff. And so he has a really good positive message about teaching. It's amazing because just so happens the week we went, we missed out on the first week. We just so happened to go this week. And he's talking about parenting your kids and teaching your kids about God. And so it was just incredible timing. And then he even talked about how God's timing is perfect and we need to trust in his timing and not our own. And it's just great that we're getting this message about timing and about parenting your kids and teaching your kids about God the first week we take our daughter to teach her about God. So it's amazing, right? And so anyway, we get done. And he finishes the service, and, everyone's scrambling around to get out of there and everything. We're kind of packing her stuff up, and we're just trying to take a couple pictures up there because of this new area that we found, and it was cool, and we just want to get pictures of our daughter being at church the first time ever. So anyway, we get done, and we're getting ready to turn around, and my wife goes, "Hey, Adam, look, it's Brad." And I turn around, and he's 7 feet from me. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, he's right here." And I was like, this is an opportunity to meet him. I've only seen him close up one other time, and I totally blew the opportunity and just took off. And because he was busy talking to other people, and I didn't want to interrupt, I just felt weird, and it was weird. I was almost in a fanboy mode. It was almost like a celebrity. So I'm not usually like that, so it was weird for me, but. Because I've ran into other celebrities and stuff, and I've tried to act as normal as possible, because I know they hate when people are all fanning out on them and acting weird, because they're just normal people too. So they don't want to, they don't want to make a big scene out of nothing. For them, it's nothing, So anyway, I didn't want to do that, but anyway, so I see him, and I was like, look, this is an opportunity. I gotta see him. I gotta at least say hi and introduce our daughter. It's the first time here and everything. So I was like, I think you'll like that. So there he is. He turns around. He makes eye contact with me. And I said, "Hey, Brad, how you doing? I'm Adam. This is my wife, Sandy. And this is our daughter, Luna. This is her first time ever coming. She's turning 9 months at this point. She was turning 9 months the next day. But anyway, I was like, yeah, tomorrow she'll be 9 months old. And this is her first time ever coming here. We've been coming here for a long time now. And we really like what you're doing and all this. And we just wanted to introduce." And he was the nicest guy. He was super nice. He was funny. And he said, "Oh, that's good that you guys are getting her involved in church. I'm glad you guys could make it. She's such an adorable little girl," and blah, blah, and all this. And he was just super nice and all that. And we walked, and, he left because there's hundreds of people wanting to talk to him. He left, and we left. And I was like ear to ear grin because I finally had a chance to meet him. And it just so happens it's her first chance, or it's my daughter's first time at church. The message was about parenting your children and teaching them about God. He talked about perfect timing in the episode, and then in the talk, and then we're there for all of it. And it was perfect time. Everything worked out perfect. And it was just amazing. And the point is, when we first laid eyes on him, he was talking to somebody and like having a chat with somebody, and because he just gets done and all these people are walking around and everything, and he comes upstairs right where we were. And we've never even been in that area. We've never even walked up there and even seen that stuff. So it was just incredible that he was there and the timing was good. And I had the opportunity to talk to him, and I didn't blow it. I didn't say, like, I remember in my head thinking, well, you know, he is busy. Maybe we should just try another time. And then I was like, you know what? He's right here. And I'm battling myself back and forth like a total fanboy. It was crazy. And I just said, screw it. Go for it. Just do it. And we did it. And it was amazing. And it was awesome. And it was such a great little experience in my life. It's a great memory to have as my daughter's first time ever at church. And it was just amazing. And I just encourage you guys, if you have the opportunity to do something, seize it. When opportunity's at your door, dude, let it in. Not like if it's knocking, just open that doggone door and let it in. Because you don't know when it's going to happen again. I've been going to that church for 6-7 years on and off. I've never ran into him. I've never been that close to him to be able to talk to him. And I thought to myself, dude, it could be another 7 years before I do this again. Like, just do it. And when the opportunities come, no matter how scary they are, no matter how nervous you are, no matter how big the moment may seem, rise up and do it. Because the worst thing you could do is skip out on it, hope for another chance. That chance never comes, and then you look back on the what ifs. So people, please, even if you don't like my story about church, even if you're atheist and you hate church, you hate God, that's not what the message is about. Follow the opportunity. Take it. Jump at it. Seize that moment. You do not know when it's going to happen again, if it ever even does. Just, you're going to be nervous. You're going to be scared. You're going to be feeling all kinds of stuff that you probably don't normally feel under normal, comfortable circumstances. But that's what's incredible about it. You have no idea what kind of outcome is going to happen. And it could lead to something massive. So many times, like the job that I had for going up 15 years was just brought up from a girl that I used to date years ago who happened to be best friends with this girl who was dating a guy that worked there. And they said, hey, this place is hiring. And bam, 15 years later, I'm still working at that place. You know, doing all my other stuff now. And it taught me so many valuable lessons about life. If it wasn't for that place, I never would have started my podcast. Probably. I never would have had the motivation to do it. But because of thorough screwings that this company has dished out to me, and consistent, by the way, they've consistently gotten worse and worse. Because of those, it taught me to embrace what I love, get good at, I always felt like talking about things was, I guess, one of a skill set of mine or whatever, but now it's forcing me into being better. It's forcing me into, I've always loved communicating with people. I've always loved having this back and I've always loved talking to people, answering questions, asking questions, learning about people, talking with them. I've always loved it. And now I get to do that. Now it's forced me into pursuing this as a full-time career because of that place. And I think about these opportunity. I didn't have to take that job. That girl could have said, hey, Rachel's boyfriend, Derek, is working at this place. And I could have been like, boring, and then just moved on with life. But and who knows where I'd be right now? Who knows the life I would have had, the experiences, the mindset I would have had, the friends I would have made. Almost everything I have now somehow stems back to that place. And it's all because of a random girl that was dated who happened to be friends with this guy that happened to work there that happened to say, hey, we're just so happen to be hiring at this time. Would you like to maybe get a job? And at the time, I desperately needed a job that had insurance and benefits and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. I did that at 21. At 30, I'm going to be 36, this Sunday? And I'm still there. And don't get me wrong, it's not my passion. I don't live for that place. I don't bleed for that place. But it does pay the bills right now. And it's allowing me to do this, which is my passion. It's allowing me to reach out to other people, connect with them, communicate with them, with you guys. And it's fucking incredible. It's amazing. And it's all because of the opportunities that weren't blown. It's the ones that I seized. There's plenty of blown ones that I can look back at and say, man, I wish I would have tried it. I wish I would have at least attempted it. But I didn't. And they're gone now. The past is the past. It's never coming back. And it doesn't matter anymore. Where you are at today is going to start the rest of your life from this moment forward. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday or the day before, the month before, the year before, the decade before. Doesn't matter what happened when you were a child. Doesn't matter what happened before you were even in the womb. What happens is, where are you at today? What opportunities are in front of you, and are you going to seize them? So do that for yourself. Don't even do it for me. Do it because it's the smart thing to do. Embrace that opportunity because you don't know what the fuck is going to happen. You really don't. And it could lead to something amazing and beautiful. Your whole life, you could be looking back 40 years from now and being like, my life changed that day because I decided to embrace the opportunity, and it totally redirected the trajectory of my life in a beautiful way. And I'm grateful for it. That's what I say today. Because of all the moments that have passed in my past, because of all the moments that I've seized, all the opportunities that I seized when they arose, I didn't take them all on. And they're gone forever. But that doesn't matter. From this day forward, take the chance. You don't know what's going to happen. I got to get going, guys. I love you so much, and I thank you for listening. And hopefully the advice I gave today is helpful, and I hope it really changes someone's life for the better, man. I really hope you guys listen to this, and it's just, don't live in regret. But anyway, guys, if you want to get a hold of me, please, like I said, I'm going to try to start doing Q&A and stuff, and hopefully that goes well, and I'll see how you guys like it, and we'll see how it's perceived, and if it's good, I'd love to keep doing it. And if we talk, if you want to leave a voice message on the Anchor app, you can do that. And I'll gladly get a hold of you. I'll gladly listen to that. And I'd love to talk to you and maybe even have you on the show. If you have a question, please leave it. And I'm going to start, like I said, I'm going to start answering these things. I love helping people, and that's what I'm here for. If you want to get a hold of me, though, you can do that through the Anchor app, like I said, with the voice messaging, or you can get a hold of me on Instagram at Really Rich Podcast, Twitter at Really Rich Adam, or LinkedIn at Adam Rich. So please get a hold of me, guys. I love to connect. Please, if you follow me or like or subscribe or any of that stuff. Oh yeah, on YouTube too. But I don't do a ton of videos. I'm trying to get more and more involved in that. It's a lot. I'm doing everything on my own. I have no business team. I have no editors. I have none of that shit. Everything I do is 100% me. So when you see it, just know that it's all definitely me. If you see me responding on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, if you see me communicating, trust me, it's nobody but me. So I think that's a positive, is that when we are connected, you're legitimately only talking to me. You're not talking to a fucking team. So a team of people, it's me. Anything you hear back from me is me. So anyway, guys, I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for the time that we have, and I hope this was helpful to somebody. And be grateful for everything you have. Be grateful for every moment, every opportunity that comes your way. Seize it, embrace it, enjoy it, love it, just crush it. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon, all right? Peace! I'm out of here.